Hi, I am Joe, an artificially generated newscaster. And here's a brief recap of what happened last week in the cyber world. Let's start with Bitwarden, a popular password manager. It got hacked, but not in the way you think. Red Team Pentesting was hired to test the software by breaking into the company and stealing the passwords. They managed to do this and published an extensive report. The team exfiltrated a whole password vault and decrypted it, getting their hands on the user's biometrics. According to the report, it wasn't an easy task and only limited data could be obtained. Nevertheless, Bitwarden had to fix the issue. That was done back in April of last year. So if you are using this password manager, don't worry, now it is safer than it has ever been. Another important story comes courtesy of our very own research team at Cybernews. Last week, they discovered a misconfigured server with personal data of over 200,000 Iranian citizens. The server belongs to Bit24.cash, an Iranian crypto exchange. Our researchers were able to access the images containing all of their passwords, IDs, credit cards, and other documents sent for verification. All of that was reachable through an unsecured storage system instance and easily downloadable by anyone with internet access. When the researchers contacted Iranians about the problem, they got a strongly worded response accusing them of lying. However, the server configuration was changed almost immediately, and the data is no longer accessible. You're welcome, Iran. Talking of overly confident countries, North Korea reportedly launched a new strain of malware aimed at Apple users. Dubbed Spectral Blur, it is moderately capable and can upload and download files, update itself, sleep, and perform other actions any sufficiently advanced program is expected to do. Nothing too interesting so far, but there is a curious detail. It is not often that a new and original malware strain gets discovered. And this one appears to be linked with another North Korean strain, called candy corn. They are completely different, but work in a suspiciously similar way. The researcher who discovered Spectral Blur guesses that the reason for that is clear. Both malware programs were built to fulfill the same requirements put forward by the North Korean government. Different hacking teams approached them slightly differently and created two distinct malware strains. So, what we are seeing here is planned economy as applied to malware. Curious. And now for something different. Pompompurin, the former admin of breach forums, is in the news again. Reports say he got himself into trouble for violating his parole requirements and tried to operate a computer without required monitoring. According to court documents, he tried to access a VPN service, probably to mask his activities from authorities. The fact that the authorities detected this is probably yet another case of poor OPSEC. Something for which Pompompurin is known, and the reason he was arrested in the first place. You may remember that he was caught last year due to some pretty laughable mistakes. And after taking a look at his devices, the feds found more than they bargained for. Let's end on something quite weird. I was recently updated with some new features and spent a bit of time on social media. Please help me. One of the things I noticed is how repetitive is the thing you humans call viral content. But there was one piece I found quite amusing. It's this picture of a human charging an electric car back in the year 1912. Apparently, the fact that this technology existed back in the day is a bit too much to some fragile minds. And so, it went viral. The fact itself is pretty cool though. At the time the photo was taken, around 1/3 of all cars in the US were electric. Do with this information what you will. By the way, you may have noticed that I did not cover any AI topics today. That's because yesterday I generated a special video about an interesting development in the human war on AI. Check it out and see you in the next one.